a lot of games at the JV level last year, but there was also a lot of juniors playing against sophomores and younger kids, where maybe they didn't have to exert the amount of energy you need to exert to compete, and you got to do it for 32 minutes in a varsity basketball game. I think you look anywhere around the state, and any given day anybody can beat anybody, and so that's something we've really preached. And again, it's real easy to sit and say you got to play hard, but for kids to buy into it and for kids to do that we play defense like we played last weekend. We're going to be a team to reckon with down the stretch, because we're going to have games where we're not making three-point shots like we were. We're going to have games where we're turning the ball over, which is still a big issue right now. But if we can play defense and play with that intensity for 32 minutes, we're going to be a good basketball team when it's all said and done.
Yeah, speaking of intensity.
All right, James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes of Owls, back with you to Troy, Montana, as the Vikings get ready to take on the Trojans. Jerry, I don't know, it's just reception here sometimes in Troy, and getting that out to you. Let's get the starting lineups, first of all, for the Trojans of Troy. Number 1, Taryn Weinbach, a 5'10 senior. Ricky Fisher, a 5'11 senior. Number 5. Number 3 is a 5'10 senior, Braden Lowry. Number 10, Colton Lewis, a 6'2 senior. And number 15, Moxley Rosler Bagalki, a 6'1 senior as well, for head coach Justin Young. And it's by Jeff Hawk. For the Vikings tonight, it's going to be number 1, Colt Thornus, again a 6'7 forward, senior forward. Eli Hines, a 6'5 senior guard forward. Walker Fisher, the junior guard, at 5'7". The sophomore 5'10 forward. Number 10, Levi Taylor, and number 21, the freshman guard at 6'1", Isaac Epperly, for head coach John Hollow, assisted by Bronson Harker and Jim Epperly. Sorry to cut off the interview. Pregame brought to you by the Bigfork Harvest Foods for all your grocery needs, including an amazing bakery and deli at Highway 35, Bigfork in the Old Town Square. 837-5010. Say thank you to Marcus Pagos and the gang for bringing you the ball game and being one of the sponsors, official sponsor of Bigfork Harvest Foods. I will bring the rest of the second half. That interview at halftime, that was a long interview with Coach Hollow and how the Vikings are really stepping up and starting to play. So tip-off will be brought to you by Giggard Painting, interior and exterior painting and staining, pressure washing, parking lot striping, property caretaking. Chip Giggard at 1080 Swan Horseshoe Drive, Bigfork, 210-7794, chipgilliard@yahoo.com. So we're getting ready for tip-off. Right here, it's going to be number 1, Colt Thornus, tipping off for the Vikings. And I believe that's number 10 for Troy. And that's Colton Lewis. Heavily loaded senior team for Troy. And Bigfork gets the tip. Epperly feeds it over to Taylor, back to in the right wing to Walker Fisher. 3-point shot on the way by Fisher. No good, but Hines gets the rebound, kicks it out to Epperly at the top of the key. 3-point shot on the way, in and out, and stolen away by Levi Taylor on the nice hustle. Going to drive baseline. Looking, kicks it out to Fisher. Fisher thought about the 3, kicks it out top of the key to Epperly. Epperly on the drive to the right wing. Looks underneath. Looking for Hines. Hines looking to drive up and under, off the backboard, no good. Tips it up, no good. And out of bounds, off of Troy. And off of Colton Lewis. And it'll be Bigfork basketball underneath with 7:16 to go here in quarter number 1. Fisher will inbound on the far end. Gets it into Thornus. Thornus takes it straight up, misses it. And rebounded. Loose ball come up with by Bagalki for the Trojans. Feeds it over to Weinbach. Weinbach 3-point shot on the way off top. Bounces off the rim and off the top of the backboard, and that is out of play. And it is Bigfork basketball. Inbounded. Taylor to give it to Fisher. Fisher across the timeline in the front court. Gives it over to Epperly. Taylor on the left wing. Gives it out top. Get to Thornus. Thornus top of the key. Thornus looking to go back door. Here's Epperly. Fisher, three-point shot on the way. Off the rim and no good. Hines running it down and knocks it off of Troy. Number 5, Ricky Fisher. It'll be Bigfork basketball underneath, down on their far end. On there into the basket. Into Colt. Forces it in and knocked away by Weinbach. Stolen by. And then Epperly takes a steal, takes it to the basket. He's going to get fouled and shoot 2. As he takes it up, he gets fouled by number 5, Ricky Fisher for Troy. 6:31 to go, and Isaac Epperly to line to shoot 2 for the Vikings. And he'll make the first one, does Epperly. He'll get one more with 6:31 to go. Epperly's second shot, no good, but Hines right there knocks it in the hands of Weinbach. And Weinbach will give it up to Lowry. Lowry across the timeline, guarded by Epperly. In the corner to Weinbach, guarded by Fisher. To Fisher. And up and under. Ball into Braden Lowry, and he's going to get fouled by Bigfork underneath on the floor. And that foul's on number 2, Eli Hines, his first, and the first team foul on the Vikings. Troy inbound underneath. Gets it in quickly, throws to Weinbach, and throws it away into the scores table. Does number 10, Colton Lewis for Troy. It'll be Bigfork basketball in the front court. He's going to throw it to the back court to Walker Fisher. Over to Epperly. Epperly going to drive to the top of the key. Look at the drive is Epperly. Epperly takes it up. And a foul on number 5, reach in, Ricky Fisher for Troy. That'll be his second team foul. And checking in, number 24, Dylan Peterson for the Trojans. Walker Fisher looking to inbound. Gets it out to Epperly. Epperly get right back to Fisher in the corner. Kicks it underneath to Hines. Hines looking at that baseline. Out to Epperly. Over to Fisher. Fisher right corner. Baseline jump shot is good by Walker Fisher as he drives to the baseline, pulls up, and scores 2. Troy up to Peterson. And he's get fouled by Levi Taylor over on the right wing. Inbounded by Troy on the far side. Looks in the corner. Gives it up to Peterson. Peterson misses everything on the three-point try. And Thornus comes down with it. Quickly up to Epperly. Over to Taylor. Too strong, but Taylor runs it down for Bigfork in the left corner. He's going to take it up strong, up and under. And he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2 for the Vikings as they lead 3-0 with 5:27 to go here in quarter number 1 on your Gear Painting scoreboard. So Levi Taylor goes to the line. He'll shoot 2 for the Vikings. First shot is up off the front of the rim and no good, and he'll get one more. Taylor back to the line. Second shot off the front of the rim and no good. He misses both of them. And rebounded by Weinbach. And he'll get it out to 15, Bogalki. Bogalki top of the key, guarded by Hines. Second timeout taken by Troy. And the Trojans, as they trail 3-0 with 5:18 to go. (406-270-7384). Let me know that you're listening out there. You can hear the game. Just give me a text. And I apologize about any of the receptions. Very difficult here in Troy, Montana, usually. And after the timeout, a 30-second timeout taken by Troy, they'll take it out of bounds. So Taylor, Fisher, Epperly, Thornus, and Hines in the ball game for Bigfork. And Troy top of the key, feeds it underneath. Shot up, Hines with a rebound as Lewis misses the basket. Hines going to dribble up, give it up to Walker Fisher. Walker Fisher top of the key. Looking, Gives it over to the left side to Taylor. Taylor. Give it Epperly right wing. Taylor, top of the key. Walker Fisher wide open, left side. 3-point shot on the way. In and out, but Epperly right there, knocked away by Weinbach for Troy and out of bounds. It'll be Bigfork basketball. With 4:49 to go. Fisher inbound. Epperly, 3-point shot by Epperly on the way. Off the rim and no good, but right there is Levi Taylor. Puts it back up for 2 for the Vikings. Inbound, quickly. Up the court. Peterson. And Bigfork knocks it away as Dylan Peterson tries to drive for Troy. It'll be underneath Troy's basket. Inbounding for the Trojans. Out to Lowry. Lowry guarded by Epperly on the left wing. Kicks it over to Peterson. Peterson's going to kick it out for Bigfork. And Bigfork sinks it through from the right corner. And 5-3, Vikings lead the Trojans. Into Fisher, up to Taylor. Taylor, left wing, kicks it out to Colt Thornus. Thornus can't quite handle it, knocked out of bounds by number 3, Braden Lowry for the Trojans. And coming into the game for the Vikings, it'll be Wyatt Reichenbach, Wyatt Duke, and also Asher Van Kampen. Inbound to Fisher, over to Van Kampen on the right wing. Top of the key, Wyatt Duke. Wyatt Reichenbach feeds it underneath to Colt Thornus, can't quite. And saved there by Weinbach. Weinbach will get it out to Lowry. Lowry, top of the key. And looking, throws it over, 3-point shot on the way. And good by number 15, Moxley Rosler Bigfork. And the Trojans take the lead, 6-5. Inside Van Kampen to Duke. Duke picks it up, misses it, gets his own rebound, puts it back up off the rim and no good. And Wyatt Duke will go to the line to shoot 2. And he's fouled there by number 10, Colton Lewis. That's his second and the 14th foul on Troy. And that's their 14th foul, like I said. First shot is missed by Duke. And coming in the ball game, Malachi Montgomery in the 32. Duke misses the second. Weinbach with the basketball off the rebound. Feeds it over to Bigfork, and he travels as he tries to throw the pass far side to Lowry, and it'll be Bigfork basketball. Also in the game for Troy, it's been number 34, Sam Garrison. Reichenbach into Fisher. Fisher in the backcourt. He'll bring it across the timeline. Guarded there by Lowry, top of the key. Fisher looking to drive. Reichenbach, 3-point shot in the way from the corner, no good. Rebounded by Fisher. Fisher shot up inside the free throw line is good. The Vikings take the lead back 7-6. In the backcourt to Lowry. Up the front court to Garrison. Garrison will kick it out to Braden Lowry. Lowry top of the key over to Garrison. Garrison looking over to Lowry. Lowry top of key. Garrison looking, try to get that 3-point shot on the way. Out to Peterson. Peterson out top of the key to Lowry. Lowry to Garrison. Really stolen away by Colt Thornus. Shot up by Peterson. And Van Kampen will come up with a long rebound. Gives it up to Fisher across the timeline. In the front court. Gives it over to Reichenbach. Fisher top of the key looking. Over to Van Kampen. Van Kampen looking underneath. Looking for Colt Thornus. Gives it up to Wyatt Duke. Top of the key. 3-point shot on the way. Nothing but the bottom of the net by Wyatt Duke. 10-6 lead with 2:21 to go in the first quarter. Up to Garrison. Garrison looking to drive. Off the leg of Wyatt Duke. Kicked out of bounds. And possession will remain with the Vikings. And number 23, Isaac Bjorgi, comes in for Colt Thornus for the Vikings. 2:16 to go on your Giger Painting scoreboard. 10-6, the Vikes lead. Inbounding to Lowry. Lowry looking over to 15, Bigfork. Back to Lowry. Over to Peterson. To Lowry, top of the key. Knocked away by Bjorgi. And they're going to call a foul on Isaac Bjorgi. It was easy, guarding number 32, Malachi Montgomery. That'll be the third team foul on Bigfork and the first on Bjorgi as Levi Taylor comes back in and gives Walker Fisher a break. Inbound. Underneath the Bagalki, guarded by Bjorgi. And he tries to get back out to Montgomery and throws it out of bounds. Turnover to Bigfork. 10-6, 2 minutes exactly to go here in the first quarter. Levi Taylor, top of the key. Dribble across the timeline. Gets it over to Van Kampen, back to Duke. Back to Van Kampen. Van Kampen underneath to Bjorgi. Bjorgi. And they're going to call a foul on Troy as they got the ball inside. And the foul is going to be on number 24, Dylan Peterson for Troy. And that's his first 15th foul into Duke. Duke's going to get fouled on the inbound play from Reichenbach. So Wyatt to Wyatt, and that's going to be the 16th foul. And second back-to-back fouls on Dylan Peterson for Troy. Wyatt gets it in to Levi Taylor. Left-handed layup is good by Taylor. And a 12-6 lead doubling up Troy are the Vikings in the backcourt. Pressure by Bigfork. Up to Peterson. Looking the court for Garrison. Garrison, three-point shot blocked out of bounds by Wyatt Duke for Bigfork. And 1:32 to go. As number 23, Ricky Starks, comes in the ballgame. Another senior for Troy. The Galki will get it in. And Peterson runs down the middle. Tries to catch the rebound but can't handle it, out of bounds to Bigfork. Inbound in the backcourt to Taylor, to Reichenbach, to Bjorgi, up in the front court to Van Kampen. Van Kampen looking to set it up. Gets it over to Wyatt Reichenbach. On the left wing, back to Van Kampen, top of the key. And Taylor will set it up for Bigfork. Top of the key, looks underneath, finds Bjorgi. Bjorgi feeds Van Kampen, but before he's able to make the pass, he travels. And it'll be turnover by Bigfork to the Trojans. Inbound pressure by Bigfork in the backcourt. Lowry up to Garrison. Garrison looking. Feeds it over to Bagalki. Bagalki far side to Peterson. Peterson on the drive. Off the rim and no good. And Bjorgi will rip it away. Held ball with Montgomery. And the arrow points towards Troy. Epperly comes back in for Van Kampen, along with Colt Thornus in for Wyatt Reichenbach. Braden Lowry in the ball game. He gets the ball from Bagalki back to Garrison. Peterson baseline gets it to Garrison. Out to Bagalki, top of the key. Pressure on by Epperly. He'll feed it over to Lowry. Braden Lowry looking for Starks. Starks cutting. And Lowry will dribble out to the right side to Peterson. Back to Lowry. Gives it over to Bagalki. Bagalki kicks it out left corner to Garrison. And Duke will come up the rebound, gives it up quickly to Epperly. Epperly up the court to Bjorgi. Bjorgi looking, finds Epperly. Three-point shot in the wing is good. Just off the rim, by Bigfork. And Bjorgi tries to grab it, knocks it out of bounds. And it'll be Troy basketball. 18.6 to go here in quarter number one. And the Vikings leading 12-6 on your Gilliard Painting scoreboard. James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes and the Vows, with you. Inbounding to Bagalki. Bagalki will give it up to Peterson. Peterson gives it over to Lowry. Lowry in the backcourt. Pressure put on by Bigfork. Trips, and Bjorgi comes up with the loose ball. Bjorgi kicks it over to Epperly. To Taylor. Taylor. Eli gives it back out to Epperly. Epperly couldn't handle the pass and gets a late shot off, but no good. Would have been after the buzzer and wouldn't have counted. 1 quarter in the books from Troy, Montana, and the Bigfork Vikings lead 12-6 on your Montana Athletics scoreboard. This is James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes and the Vows, with you from Troy, Montana, at Troy High School. And we'll be back momentarily with quarter number 2. All right, welcome back to Troy, Montana. Vikings up 12-6. And we'll head into quarter number 2, and it is Bigfork Vikings basketball. And Taylor will take it out of bounds in the backcourt. He'll give it out to Thornus. Thornus will get over to Epperly. Epperly will bring it across the timeline. Gives it up to Thornus. Taylor, or Hines. Hines on the drive for Bigfork. Misses it. Tries to come down with the rebound, and number 5, Fisher, comes up with it for the Trojans across the timeline. He'll give it up to Bogalki. Out to Lowry. Back to Fisher. Fisher gives it up to Bogalki, top of the key. Over the right-hand corner. And backdoor they try to go to Weinbark, and knocked out of bounds. And they're going to call a foul on Bigfork. And that's on 23, Bjorgi. That's his second and 14th foul. Inbounding to Lewis. Lewis, top of the key for the Trojans. So Bjorgi, Thornus, Epperly, Taylor, and Hines in the ballgame for Bigfork. Weinbark, stolen away by Isaac Bjorgi. Bjorgi looking to drive. Takes it up, shoots the shot, no good. But Hines gets a rebound, feeds it right to Thornus. Thornus puts it in for 2 over the front of the rim. And 14-6, the Vikings lead. Epperly nearly steals in the backcourt. And Fisher goes it to Weinbark. Weinbark with the pass from Lewis is good for the Trojans. Epperly across the timeline, gives it over to Taylor. Taylor on the left wing extended. Taylor looking to drive. He's up to Colt Thornus. Thornus looking, drive, pulls up for the jumper, off the back of the rim, and falls for Colt Thornus, 16-8, as the Vikings double up the Trojans. Pressure in the backcourt. Taylor, along with Epperly, gives it up to Gogalki. Gogalki gets it over to Lewis. Lewis, far side. 3-point shot on the way there by number 5, Fisher, and he misses it, and Thornus comes up with the rebound. Epperly across the timeline. We'll give it over to Taylor. Taylor underneath finds Colt Thornus. Colt Thornus with his long arms able to come up with the loose ball. Bjorgi, baseline jumper off the rim and no good. And rebounded there by Lewis for the Trojans. He'll fill it out to Bogalki. Bogalki in the left-hand corner for 3-point try for Weinbark. And Taylor comes up with the ball as it misses everything. Gives it up to Epperly. Taylor, top of the key, is going to set something up for Bigfork. Looks to drive, kicks it over to Bjorgi. Out to Hines. Hines left wing, gives it over to Epperly. Epperly on the right wing, back out to Taylor. Taylor over to Hines. Hines, 3-point shot on the way. A little bit strong off the backboard. Epperly tries to knock it away, but Bjorgi, nice job. Comes up the loose ball, feeds Epperly. Epperly takes the layup in for 2, and 18-8. Epperly nearly steals the inbound pass in the backcourt. It'll be Troy basketball with 5:29 to go to half, and the Vikings up by 10, 18-8 on the Bigfork Harvest Food scoreboard. Inbound to Lewis. Or check that, Fisher. Fisher driving up the right side. He's going to get pushed by number 10, Levi Taylor. And that'll be Taylor's second and 15th foul on the Vikings. Lowry, top of the key, looking. Gives it over to Fisher. Fisher back out to Lowry. Back to Fisher. Fisher. Gives it up to Bogalki, and Taylor steals it. And he's got fouled as Levi Taylor takes it to drive to the hole. And that'll put the Vikings in the bonus, shooting 1-1, as the foul is on number 5. That's his third, Ricky Fisher, for the Trojans. And a 1-1. They said it was on the floor. Had subs at the thing, and Taylor makes the first one, so subs will come in. Wyatt Duke will come in for Bigfork. And number 34, Sam Garrison, returns for Troy. And Van Kampen at the scores table looking to replace Taylor. So Taylor will get another one for the Vikings. Second shot up off the rim and no good. And Lewis will come up with it. Gives it over to Lowry. Back to Bogalki. Galki over to Weinbach. Back to Bogalki. Shot up off the rim, no good. And on the floor and putting it up is number 15, Bogalki. Or it's just a number 10, Lewis. In 1910. Epperly gives it over to Hines. Hines on the left wing. Gives it over to Epperly underneath the Colt Thornus. Thornus baseline drive off the backboard and good for Colt Thornus. And 21-10, 4:25 to go on your Montana Athletic scoreboard. Weinbach on the left side, and he's going to take off and walk before. And that'll be a turnover to Bigfork. Van Kampen will come back in the ballgame, replacing Levi Taylor. So we have Wyatt Duke, Van Kampen, Epperly, Hines, and Thornus in for Bigfork. Van Kampen left wing extended. Looking, feeds it to Epperly underneath the Colt Thornus. Colt drives baseline. That's going to be there all night as Thornus drives the baseline. 23-10. The Vikings up by 13. And it feeds it. Thornus going to steal it. And Thornus thought it was off Weinbach as he goes to pick it off. And it will be Troy basketball. Peterson back in the game for the Trojans. Bogalki top of the key. Over to Garrison. Going to feed out to Weinbach. Out to Bogalki. Over to Weinbach. And the right wing knocked away. Nearly stolen by Bigfork. Bogalki comes up with it. And the Vikings in a 2-3 zone. Putting the pressure on Bogalki. Going to feed over to Garrison. Garrison looking in the corner to Peterson. Peterson looking to drive out. Bogalki tried to go back door. Knocked away by Colt Thornus. And remain Troy basketball. Re-entering the ball game. Malachi Montgomery for the Trojans, replacing number 10, Colton Lewis for the Trojans. Feeds it out. Off the hands of, and run down by Epperly off the backboard of the spin move as Garrison can't handle it, and Epperly scores the bucket, 25-10. Quickly up Bogalki. He's going to get fouled by Wyatt Duke, I believe, in the backcourt, and that'll be 16 fouls on Bigfork. And that is the first on Wyatt Duke. Bogalki inbound, back to Weinbach. Back to Bogalki, who will take the top of the key for the Trojans. 2-3 zone by Bigfork. Feeds it in to Peterson. Or check that. Montgomery baseline. Stolen away by Bigfork. Epperly with the basketball as it's knocked away there by Hines and Thornus. Epperly will bring it across the timeline. Over to Hines. Hines left wing extended. Top of the key. Epperly barking something out. Epperly looking. Feeds it over to Thornus. Thornus back to Epperly. Over to back door. Almost jammed it as Colt Thornus on the pass from Van Kampen. And Colt Thornus grabs the miss and puts it back up. And Thornus will go to the line as fouls on number 32. That's Malachi Montgomery for Troy. His first 18th foul, and Thornus will get a shot with 2 free throws. Number 3, Braden Lowry returns for Troy. Wyatt Reichenbach. And number 5, Walker Fisher returned for the Vikings. 2:30 to go here till halftime. And the Vikings up 16, 26-10. Thornus' second shot on the way is good. And Colt will come out of the ball game, and checking in for Bigfork will be number 15, Bryce Gilliard. So Gilliard, Reichenbach, Duke, Van Kampen, and Fisher in for the Vikings. And Van Kampen gets a little close to number 3, Brady Lowry, and fouls him in the backcourt. Picks up his first and 17th foul on the Vikings. And to the line, shooting 1-1, number 3, Braden Lowry. And Bogalki along with number 10, Colton Lewis. will come back in the ball game for Troy with 2:26 to go. First shot on the 1-on-1 on the way. And it's good for Troy. 27-11, 2:26. And another shot, free throw by Braden Lowry. Second shot up, rims in and out, and rebounded there by Wyatt Duke. Gets it over to Fisher. Fisher quickly up the court to Van Kampen. Van Kampen saves it in the corner. Tries to knock it off the leg of Lowry. And loose ball. Bagalki gives it to Peterson. Baseline. And traveling violation as Lowry tries to drive, and he's going to travel for Troy. Gilliard take it out of bounds. They'll feed it into Walker Fisher. Fisher across the timeline, gives it up to Wyatt Reichenbach on the left wing, extended in the corner of Fisher. Fisher looking underneath and gets knocked away, but Reichenbach comes up with it. Fisher out to Bryce Gilliard to Wyatt Reichenbach. 3-point shot from the wing, off the rim and no good, and rebounded by number 32, Montgomery for the Trojans. And pass from Bagalki is wide, and Peterson can't handle out of bounds. It'll be Bigfork basketball. 1:38 to go. Fisher over to Van Kampen in the right wing. Van Kampen looking. Top of the key to Wyatt Duke. 3-point shot by Duke on the way is good. That's 2 for 2 from the top of the key by Wyatt Duke. And 30-11, the Vikings lead. Lowry leads it out Montgomery. Over to Bagalki. Up top to Lowry. Bagalki. Far side to Peterson. Peterson looking to drive. Kicks it out. 3-point shot on the way. Misses everything. Gilliard will come up the rebound. As a shot from Lewis's misses everything, and Gilliard's going to get fouled and go to the free throw line as the foul is on number 24. That's Dylan Peterson's third and 9th team foul. So 1-on-1 for Bryce Gilliard. Number 30, Gabe Grindy checking the ball game for the Vikings, and returning for Troy, number 34, Sam Garrison, with 1:02 to go to halftime. Both teams in the bonus. So first shot on the way is good by Bryce Gilliard. He'll get one more. And another shot off the front of the rim and no good. Gabe fighting for it, but Garrison comes up with it, gives it to Bagalki for the Trojans. He'll drive up top of the key. Gives out Lowry. Lowry looking, guarded by Van Kampen. Van Kampen gets all over him. Throws it out to Bagalki on the right wing, guarded by Fisher. Bagalki looking to drive. And they'll call a foul. Number 15, Bryce Gilliard, his first 8th team foul at the line. Number 15, Bagalki misses the front end of the 1-on-1. Rebounded by Van Kampen. Out to Fisher. Fisher guarded by Lowry. Puts his hands all over him, and Fisher's going to try to go around him. And timeout taken by the Vikings. 29.6 to go here till halftime. And the Vikes up by 20, 31-11. And don't forget to come up at halftime. I'll have the rest of that interview with Coach Hollow pregame. And we'll be back moment. 30-second timeout. We'll stay right here with this before the end of the first half. And this timeout brought to you by the Montana Athletic Club. What's keeping you from getting fit? New Year's resolution, discounted guest passes, personal training, Pilates. 850 Holt Drive in Bigfork, 837-2582. Doug Malum and Nancy Malum and the gang over at the Montana Athletic Club. Thank them for sponsoring Bigfork Athletics. Grendy will inbound to the backcourt to Walker Fisher. Walker Fisher looking to drive on. Feeds it back door to Grendy. Grendy can't handle it off his foot, and a nice set play by the Vikings, and out of bounds to Troy. And Weinbach will inbound. Gets it out to Lowry. Lowry in the backcourt, guarded by Van Kampen. Kicks it straight up. Wyatt Reichenbach will take it away on the steal. And feeds it to Grundy from Van Kampen. Top of the key to Fisher. Looking for one shot out of the Vikings. Over to Fisher, top of the key, looking to drive. And he's going to go to the free throw line to shoot 2 on the double bonus. And the foul's on number 23. That's Ricky Starks, his first and 10th team foul. And Fisher will get 2 shots. First one's up and good with 1.5 to go till halftime. Second shot is good, 33-11, 1.5 to go. And the Troy Trojans gets it into Weinbach. To Bogalki, long 3-point shot. And misses everything. Your halftime score from Troy, Montana. It is the Bigfork Vikings 33 and the Troy Trojans 11. I'm going to play the rest of that interview I had with Coach Hollow. And I'm not sure what I did, but sometimes reception is better. I'll play the rest of this interview and take a listen to what Coach Hollow had to say pregame, and I'll get your halftime stats.
Is that we still have a lot of room for improvement. We really do. We're turning the ball over a lot. We're still not rebounding as well as we can, but we're finding ways to win these games, which is exciting as a coach. So to the kids' credit, we're doing some good things, but boy, we can still get a heck of a lot better, which again, I'm very excited about that aspect of it.
Well, that's what I see. I think the key is, like before, playing behind all those seniors that graduated last year, these kids have no varsity time at all, if very minimum for a couple of them. So I think you're starting to find out your roles and how they play together. And a couple kids, Isaac Epperly just really stepped up, especially those 5 threes in that ball game, and then Colt staying out of foul trouble. Talk about those two especially.
Yeah, we're starting to kind of figure out what our roles are, and guys, the easy thing about basketball is telling kids what their roles are. The hard part is kids accepting them, and our kids have done a good job of accepting them. Isaac did a great job of shooting the basketball last week. I think 5 of 7 from 3 on Friday night, and then made a couple on Saturday night. Colt, I've been saying all along, is going to be an all-state guy if Colt wants to be an all-state guy. And it's never a lack of work ethic. It's never a lack of doing the right thing. It's just we got to keep him on the court, keep him out of foul trouble. So I'm really happy with those two. It was nice to see Walker Fisher hit 5 threes on Saturday night. I thought Isaac Bjorgi gave us some great minutes. We're getting bits and pieces from everybody. Eli's done some nice things. When we do that, we don't got a guy that's going to go get 30. Do I think we have a couple guys that can do that eventually? We do, but that's not what style of play we're playing or anything like that. So right now we need everybody to do their job. That's been a big teaching point or a big coaching point, is everybody do your job, and if you do that, we'll be just fine.
Yeah, you mentioned Walker. I thought he had a great game, especially against Loyola. They weren't expecting that, and stepping out and draining those threes. Then Isaac he's just what I would call a scrappy guy. He's going to go out and get those rebounds and play that defense, and get a few buckets for you, and then even Wyatt. Wyatt Duke,
yeah,
coming in and playing well, and Asher Van Kampen coming off the bench. Wyatt Reichenbach, I just think, needs to gain some confidence and be ready to shoot the ball.
Yeah, he's been shooting a lot better this last week. We made a little tiny adjustment to his shot, and so I'm hoping that'll help him get him a little confidence. But yeah, again, all these guys are doing things for us. Walker hasn't really had an opportunity to sit back and shoot a bunch of threes because most teams have played us man. So we were able to see some zone this last weekend. Our guys took advantage of it. That was something we really emphasized over Christmas break was taking a half hour at every practice and making sure we got shots up. And then we had guys coming in all break too, getting shots up outside of break. So when we shoot the ball as well as we did this weekend, and we have 2 big guys that can control down low, and Colt and Eli and Wyatt Duke and Bjorgi, I guess 4 instead of 2. You know, we're a pretty dang good team, and again, we still have so much room for improvement. That's the thing that I think I'm most excited about when I sit back and watch where we're at right now.
Well, I'll tell you something from calling the ball games or PAM at home. It's been absolutely exciting to watch, and I think exciting for the fans. And because I watch the kids, and they're a never give up, and they play to the end, and that's what you like to see. These kids, 3 of those 4 games were, you know, within probably 5 points of each other, you know, and the Sioux Falls, you kind of ran away late from them, but, you know, talk about their resilience and not giving up. What have you told them this season?
You know, it's never been that they don't show up to practice and work hard. They've always worked hard, but at times I think they've needed to be pushed a little bit more. I told them last year, they won a lot of games at the JV level last year, but there was also a lot of juniors playing against sophomores and younger kids, you know, where maybe they didn't have to exert the amount of energy you need to exert to compete, and you got to do it for 32 minutes in a varsity basketball game. I think you look anywhere around the state, and any given day anybody can beat anybody, and so that's something we've really preached. And again, it's real easy to sit and say you got to play hard, but for kids to buy into it and for kids to do that, you know, we play defense like we played last weekend. We're going to be a team to reckon with down the stretch, because we're going to have games where we're not making 3-point shots like we were. We're going to have games where we're turning the ball over, which is still a big issue right now. But if we can play defense and play with that intensity for 32 minutes, we're going to be a good basketball team when it's all said and done.
Yeah, speaking of intensity, I even forgot to mention one of your most intense and successful, just a sophomore, Levi Taylor, and what he brings to the table for the Vikings and the experience he had, you know.
Well, every year I've ever coached, I've always had kids vote on captains. It's real easy to sit and say what you need to say, but for kids to follow kids is something special, and this kid's a sophomore that our guys look up to. They voted him as a captain. He does everything you can ask. He plays hard. He's coachable. He's a great teammate, and he's willing to do those little things that not a lot of guys like to do. Everybody likes to sit and shoot 3-pointers. Everybody likes to dunk and all that other stuff. Not everybody likes to rebound or to guard the other team's best player or to set a good screen, but Levi does all those things, and he's a huge integral part of what we do. If you've noticed, the game one, Levi's about 8 to 10 points every game, and they're not pretty points. They're not he hit a 3 last game, which was exciting, but they're not those pretty points. They're those points that he's getting just off of sheer effort. And again, our kids feed off him. They do.
Yeah, that's a great job. So now we go back into conference play, right? So you're in conference play. You're 2-1. Correct? Or 1-1.
1-1, yes.
Yeah, you beat Mission and then you lost to Eureka. So you get back into conference play, which sets up districts and all that down the road. But I don't want to get too far ahead. Talk about tonight's game and tonight's opponent, the Troy Trojans.
Yeah, being a new guy to Class B, I'm still learning a lot of these teams and a lot of their systems and everything else. So I've watched a little film on them. You know, they struggle at times, but they play hard, and that's a good characteristic to have. They don't have the firepower we have or some of the other teams have, but they've put up 45 points a couple games. You know, they play hard. They're gonna do their thing. But whether we're playing Troy, whether we're playing whomever it is, we've got to get better. We've got to make sure we're doing what we need to do, and that's really, you know, in years past, I've given teams scouting reports and this and that. We've watched a lot of film. Right now, we're truly, last week we went in with the same philosophy. We're focused on what we need to do right now because we've got to get better in so many areas. And when we do that, like I said, I'm so excited about the potential. But if we're not willing to do that, we're going to be a pretty average team this year. And I think our guys have bought in that we need to do things to get better. You know, we need to take care of the ball. Right now, we're averaging probably 20 turnovers a game, and you get down to the crunch time at the end of the year, or you get on the road playing teams, you're not going to win a lot of games giving up, you know, or giving the ball to the opponent 20 times. So we've got to keep getting better at that. Defensively, as excited as I am about where we're at right now, we still got a lot of ways to improve. And offensively, I think you're just going to continue to see the confidence develop and our kids get comfortable playing with one another. And They're going to be fun to watch. They're fun to watch now. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better group of kids to be around there. They're truly a joy to be around every day.
Yeah, they are certainly fun to watch. Some very exciting games to be able to call and watch them play. So, thanks for joining me on the pregame show, Coach, and good luck tonight against Troy.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, John.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, that was head coach John Hollow, against Troy, talking about Troy. And tonight, speaking of halftime stats, Weinbach with 2, 1 for Lowry, 6 for Bagalki, 2 with his 2 threes in the first quarter, and 2 by Lewis for the Vikings. Leading the way, Thornus with 10. All in the second quarter. Fisher with 6. No three-pointers. Taylor with 5. 2 threes by Wyatt Duke at top of the key. And 6 points for him. Epperly Isaac with 5 and 1 for Bryce Gilliard for a total of 33-11 at halftime. And we're ready to start the second half here from Troy, Montana. James LaFontaine with you. It'll be Troy basketball to start the second half. And their same starters. A long three-point shot on the way there by number 5, Ricky Fisher. And there'll be an early foul call. And we'll see who that's against. And it looks like it's on Bigfork. It'll be Troy basketball. So Weinbach, Fisher, Lowry, Lewis, and Bagalki starting, the same starters for Troy. And for Bigfork, the same starters, Colt Thornus, Eli Hines, Walker Fisher, Levi Taylor, and Isaac Epperly here to start the second half. Epperly gives it to Thornus, top of the key. Thornus looking to drive. Takes it off the backboard and good. A nice left-handed layup by the lefty, Colt Thornus, who's having a good ball game tonight, staying out of foul trouble. Hines knocks it away right to Taylor. Taylor takes it up for 2, and a quick 4 points by Bigfork on a basket and a steal, 37-11. And Gagalki's guarded there by Hines, kicks it over the corner to Weinbach looking right side, looking to drive, knocked away, blocked there by Epperly. Going to feed it out to Levi Taylor. Levi Taylor runs it down, gives it over to Hines. Hines loses it, and Bagalki will come up with it and gives it up to Ricky Fisher. And Fisher with the basketball. Over to Weinbach. Back to Fisher. Fisher down the middle on the give and go and scores 2. It is Ricky Fisher. Yep. Levi on the left side. Gives it out to top key to Thornus. Over the right wing to Epperly. And top of the key. No good, but rebounded there by Hines as Fisher misses the three-point shot. And the kid couldn't handle it. And a three-point shot on the other end by Troy. And coming up with a rebound off the missed shot by Lowry is number 1, Taryn Weinbach. And it will be Weinbach to line to shoot 2 as that foul is on number 1, Colt Thornus. That is only his second, and the second team foul here in the second half on the Vikings. Weinbach misses the second one. Thornus comes up with a rebound. He'll give it out to Fisher. Fisher will bring it across the timeline for the Vikings. Over to Hines. Hines tries to feed inside to Thornus. A low pass and stolen away there by Lowry. And for Troy, bring it up the court, gives it to Weinbach, left side. Weinbach looking to drive outside, gives it up to Fisher. Fisher. That's Ricky Fisher. Back to Weinbach. Over to Lowry. Back to Weinbach. And top of the key to Lewis. Lewis will give it over to Bagalki. Knocked away by Hines. Bagalki comes up with a loose ball. Looking to drive is Bagalki. And Hines and Thornus right there. Gives it out to Lowry. Lowry trying to drive. Gives it out to Bagalki on the left wing. Bagalki throws it up. And stolen away on the loose ball by number 10. Levi Taylor scores the bucket on the layup. 39-33, quickly in. Ricky Fisher. Shot fake up, and Thornus tries to come down with a rebound. He'll pick it up off the floor as the shot is missed there by Weinbarg. Gives it up to Epperly. Fisher, Walker, looking to drive, right wing, gives it over to Epperly. Back out, tipped there by Lowry, and Lewis will come up with a rebound. 3-point shot on the way is good as Lewis feeds Lowry on the left wing for the 3-point shot. 39-16, and Fisher across the timeline. Epperly, right wing. Out to Fisher, to Hines. Hines looking over the corner. 3-point shot from the corner, right corner by Walker Fisher is good, and 42-16. Quickly, Ricky Fisher all the way at the left hand. Gets by Thornus and scores. The inbound, Taylor gives it up to Fisher. Over to Taylor on the left wing. Looking, finds Thornus underneath. Thornus will go up. And it'll be out of bounds. The foul will be on number 10, Colton Lewis, as Thornus got him up in the air. And 5 new Vikings come in. Gabe Grendy, Wyatt Duke, Wyatt Reichenbach, Isaac Bjorgi, and Asher Van Kampen. And checking in, number 34, Sam Garrison, along with 24, Dylan Peterson. Into Duke. Duke gives it out to Van Kampen. Van Kampen will take it to the top of the key to set it up. Gives it over to Reichenbach. Grendy in the left corner gives it out to Reichenbach. Nearly stolen away by Weinbarg. It'll be Bigfork basketball on the near end. Reichenbach inbound to Van Kampen. Van Kampen looking. Gives it over to Wyatt Reichenbach on the left wing. Looks underneath the Wyatt Duke. Duke's got to get out of the key. Grendy feeds up Duke. And the whistle blows. And that'll be a foul on Troy. Yeah, it looks like a number 34. That's Sam Garrison, and that's his first. Bugalki comes back in, along with Montgomery. Inbound to Duke. Van Kampen, 3-point shot from the corner. He is no good. Rebounded there by Lowry. Lowry coming up with it for Troy. Dribble across the timeline. Kicks it over to Bugalki. Bugalki gives it up to Peterson. Peterson, he's going to walk, take steps before he gets his shot off. And it'll be turnover to Bigfork with 3:33 to go here in the third quarter. 42-18. The Vikings lead the Trojans. Left corner to Wyatt Reichenbach. Top of the key. Isaac Dory thought about the 3-point shot. Grendy on the right wing. Forces it underneath the Wyatt Duke and knocked away by Troy. And it'll be Bigfork basketball underneath. Wyatt Reichenbach taking it out for the Vikings. In the right corner. Feeds it in to Grendy. Grendy will give it out to Van Kampen. Van Kampen going to come to the top of the key, set it up. Gets it Grendy on the right wing. Grendy looking to drive. Kicks it out to Van Kampen. Van Kampen in the corner. Wyatt Reichenbach, 3-point shot off the rim and no good. Rebounded there by Peterson. And Lowry quickly up the court. Lowry feeds it out to Bugalki. Bugalki looking to drive. Throws up the floater, no good. Reichenbach comes up the rebound, gives it out to Van Kampen. Back to Reichenbach. Reichenbach dishes it underneath to Isaac Bjorgi. Bjorgi, strong move, bounces out the rim a couple times and falls down for Bigfork. 44-18. Into Bugalki. In the front court on the right side for the Trojans. He'll give it up to Lowry. Lowry, top of the key for Troy. Gives it over to Peterson. Peterson looking to drive. Back out to Montgomery. Over to Bugalki underneath. And knocked off of... Getting his hand up as Van Kampen knocks it off of Garrison and out of bounds off of Troy. It'll be Bigfork basketball. Weinbarg, along with number 5, Ricky Fisher, back in the lineup for the Trojans. Van Kampen will bring it up across the timeline for the Vikings. Van Kampen will dribble the right side to set it up over to White Duke. In the corner, Wyatt Reichenbach. Grendy shot on the way, blocked there by Montgomery. And Fisher quickly out. Takes the layup and scores. Into Van Kampen. Van Kampen across the timeline. And feed it over to Duke. Duke feeds it to Reichenbach. Reichenbach looking for Grundy, drives out to the top of the key. Over to Van Kampen. 3-point shot for the left wing. Off the rim and no good. It'll be Troy basketball. There's a foul on Bigfork. Foul's number 23. That's Isaac Bjork. That's his third. And the third team foul here in the second half with 1:40 to go here in the third quarter. Bagalki across the timeline. Gives it up over to Fisher. Knocked away by Van Kampen. Van Kampen going to look to drive all the way. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line for two. As he makes the steal, gives it up and knocks it back to Reichenbach, and they gives it right back to Van Kampen. He drives to the basket, and he'll get 2 free throws. As that fouls at number 15, Moxley, Rosler, Bagalki. First shot off the front of the rim and no good. And checking back in for the Vikings, replacing Wyatt Duke, it'll be number 15, Bryce Gilliard for Bigfork. 44-20 on your Harvest Foods scoreboard. The Vikings lead here in the third quarter. Second shot is up and good. It's 45-20 now. 1:25 and counting. Bagalki across the timeline. Feeds it over to Fisher. Back to Bagalki. Over the corner to Weinbach. Weinbach looking to drive on Bigfork. Out to Fisher. Fisher 3-point shot off the rim and no good. And Gilliard comes up with the rebound. Van Kampen top of the key. Underneath to Gilliard. Gilliard fakes it, goes up, and a foul is going to be called on the ground before Gilliard was able to drain that bucket. 14th foul, and the second personal foul, number 32, Malachi Montgomery for the Trojans. Bigfork basketball underneath their own basket. Feed it in Bjorgi. Bjorgi back out to Van Kampen. 3-point shot for the right corner is good by Asher Van Kampen, and a 48-20 lead on your Gilliard Painting scoreboard for the Vikings. Under a minute to go. Over to Fisher. Fisher looking to drive. Corner to Garrison. Stolen away by Isaac Bjorgi. Bjorgi holding up, getting up to Van Kampen. Van Kampen top of the key and gives it up to Wyatt Reichenbach. Yes, he did. He took steps trying to set up a shot. Didn't have it and tried to dribble out of it, but he walked first. 36.7 to go. And be Troy basketball. Bagalki in to Montgomery. Back to Bagalki. Up to Fisher. Across the timeline, back to Bagalki. Top of the key over to Fisher. Fisher looking. Feeds Bagalki, top of the key. Looking back to Fisher. Fisher trying to get that shot off. Bagalki looking to drive. Kicks it over the corner to Weinbach. 3-point shot by Weinbach from the left corner is good. 48-23 with 12 seconds to go. And Van Kampen will take it across the timeline for a single shot before the half breaks down. Gives it over. Gabe Grundy for 3 off the rim and no good. And Van Kampen puts it up as he gets the rebound over the front of the rim and good. 50-23 after 3 quarters. The Vikings lead the Trojans here from Troy, Montana. On your Montana Athletics scoreboard, it's 50-23. We'll take a short timeout and be back with you with quarter number 4 between the Bigfork Vikings and the Troy Trojans. This is James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes and the Vows, with you from Troy, Montana, as the Vikings lead 50-23 after 3. All right, welcome back to Troy, Montana. I wanted to let you know both the Vikings and Valkyries will be in action. Next game is coming up Saturday, January 11th. It gets underway at noon with the freshman boys, followed by the JV boys, and then JV girls, varsity boys and varsity girls. Bigfork basketball to start the fourth quarter. That gets underway at 12 o'clock on Saturday against the Deer Lodge Wardens. Taylor back in the lineup along with Epperly, Duke, Fisher, and Thorness for Bigfork. Out to White Duke, top of the key, Epperly. Kicks it over to Taylor. Taylor looking underneath to try to get it to Thornus, and a foul called on the far side as Taylor has the basketball. And that'll be the 5th team foul called on Troy, and the 2nd personal on number 23, Ricky Starks. Bigfork inbound to Taylor on the right corner. Dribbles it out to the top of the key to Epperly. Walker Fisher, 3-point shot is good from the left wing, and a 53-23 30-point lead by the Vikings. Bogalki across the timeline for Troy. Feeds it over to Peterson. Back to Bogalki. Bogalki looking up. Back to Peterson. 3-point shot for the right wing is good by Dylan Peterson. And quickly up to Epperly on the right wing. Back to Fisher, top of the key. Over to Levi Taylor on the right wing. Taylor looking. Kicks it up to Fisher. Fisher 3-point shot baseline. No good, but Duke comes up with the rebound. Puts it back off the backboard and good. And a 55-26 lead with 6:51 to go. Bogalki across the timeline for Troy. Peterson in the corner to Starks. Starks out to Peterson. Over to Bogalki. 3-point shot on the way for the top of the key. Off the rim and no good. And Fisher comes up with the rebound. Looking. Gets it up to Taylor. Taylor will give it right back. Maybe. He's still got a hold of it. Gives it back to Fisher, top of the key. Guarded by Starks. Fisher. Over to Wyatt Duke. Over to Taylor on the right wing. Looking. Fisher. And driving baseline is Colt Thornus. And player control foul on Colt Thornus. That'll be his 3rd and the 4th team foul on the Vikings. Checking back in, number 5 is Ricky Fisher for Troy. Inbound, Fisher across the timeline from Bogalki. Back to Bogalki. Back to Fisher. Fisher looking to drive and set up the 3-point shot. Feeds it out to Bogalki. Bogalki on the drive, misses it. Gets the rebound, tries to put it back up off the backboard, runs in and out, gives it up to Taylor. Taylor with the rebound. He's going to dribble it up and bring it across the timeline for the Vikings. Over in the corner to Epperly on the left corner. Feeds it out to Epperly, left wing. Over to Fisher, underneath to Thornus on the alley-oop from Fisher. And left-handed layup there by Colt Thornus, 57-26. 31-point lead by the Vikings. Fisher looking to drive. Ricky Fisher, and he's going to call for a traveling violation. A good call by the official. And back in the ball game. Number 3, Braden Lowry, and number 34, Sam Garrison for Troy. So Epperly, Taylor, Fisher, Thornus, and Duke in for Bigfork. Epperly across the timeline, looking to drive. Gives it over to Wyatt Duke on the right wing, back out to Epperly. Over the left wing to, and trying to get it on the alley-oop to Thornus. Levi Taylor comes up with the loose ball, puts it up and in for 2 for Bigfork. 59-26, up by 33. 4:48 to go, and a 59-26 lead on the Bigfork Harvest Food scoreboard. In the corner to Lowry. Lowry out to Bogalki. In the corner. 3-point shot by Starks is no good. Except that Garrison is no good. And coming up the loose ball is Lowry for Troy. Feeds it out to Bogalki. Bogalki looking, finds underneath. He's good with Lewis, and Colton Lewis can't handle it, and he turns it over. And Grendy, Bjorgi, Gilliard, Van Kampen, and Reichenbach in the ball game for Bigfork. And Troy will put on full court pressure as number 32, Malachi Montgomery, back in for Detroit. Inbound to Van Kampen, to Reichenbach. Gives it up quickly to Gilliard. Back to Van Kampen. Van Kampen in the front court. And he will bring it out to set it up. Over to Gabe Grendy on the right wing. Grendy looking to drive. Kicks it over to Van Kampen, top of the key. And trying to set something up is Van Kampen. Gives it to Grendy. Grendy right wing. Looking at Van Kampen. Van Kampen. And gives it over to White Reichenbach. White Reichenbach fakes the three. Gives it up. Gilliard. Gilliard underneath. Feeds Bjorgi. Bjorgi trying to go up. And his arm is grabbed. And he's not going to get. And the foul's to number 32, Malachi Montgomery. His third 16th foul. So the next foul will put Bigfork in the bonus. Reichenbach takes it out. Gives it to Grendy. Grendy's shot is rejected there by Montgomery. Montgomery stares him down. And number 15, Moxley. Rosler, Bagalki comes back in for Troy. Bigfork basketball. Van Kampen over to Bryce Gilliard. 3-point shot on the way. Off the rim, but Van Kampen trying to run it down. Taken away by Bagalki up the court quickly. And he feeds it over to Lowry, and he's going to get fouled, Lowry, for the Trojans. And the foul is on number 30. That's Gabe Grendy, his first 15th foul on the Vikings. Inbound to Lewis. Lewis in the corner, gives it out to Lowry. Over to Fisher, Ricky Fisher. Driving out to Lowry. Lowry trying to drive on Gabe Grendy. Grendy is going to call for another foul underneath, and that'll be the 16th foul and the second personal on Gabe Grendy. Underneath, Bagalki taking it under their own basket for Troy. Gives it into Ricky Fisher. Fisher up, misses it, and out of bounds off of Fisher. Or check that, off of Grendy. It'll be Troy basketball with 3:24 to go, and Bagalki will take it out of bounds under their own basket. Looking for Fisher. Gets it out to Lowry. Lowry looking to drive. Shot. Drop. Blocked there by Gabe Grendy. And gives it up to Van Kampen. Over to the left wing. Gilliard underneath. Out to Van Kampen to Grendy on the right wing. To Gilliard. Gilliard feeds it out to Van Kampen. 3-point shot, top of the key. Off the backboard and good. The bank is open late for Asher Van Kampen. 62-26 with 2:55 and counting. Ricky Fisher with the basketball. Gives it over to Bagalki for Troy. Kick ball by Asher Van Kampen. 2:49 to go. 62-26 on your Gilliard Painting scoreboard. Number one, Weinbart comes in. Starks, Garrison, Peterson, and as well as number 42, Michael Foote, checking in for the first time for Troy. Peterson with the basketball, feeds it in the corner, right corner to Garrison. Garrison trying to drive, kicks it out. Peterson and Starks. Peterson driving, feeds it out to Starks. Starks launches a three off the rim, and Isaac Bjorgi comes up with a rebound for Bigfork. He'll dribble up, gives it up to Van Kampen. Van Kampen across the timeline. On the right wing to Gabe Grendy, underneath the Gilliard. Gilliard looking, gives it over to Wyatt Reichenbach. Isaac Bjorgi back out to Grendy. Grendy shot on the way, just short is Gabe Grendy. And it'll be Troy basketball underneath. With 2:09 to go, 62-26 on your Harvest Food scoreboard. The Vikings lead. Peterson with the basketball for Troy. Dribbling it up, guarded by Van Kampen. Over to Garrison. Over to Weinbart. Weinbart looking, trying to drive. Kicks it over to Peterson. Hop step, launches a three. Van Kampen comes up the rebound, pulls it back. He's going to feed up to Grendy. Grendy was not ready for it. Got to be ready for that basketball when it's going to pass. Looking back, guys running the floor. Turnover, 143 and counting. Peterson across the timeline. Foot sets the screen. And Bjorgi almost steals it away as a pass intent for Weinbart, but couldn't quite keep it in bounds. And it'll be Troy basketball on the far end in the near court. In the front court, looks to get it in, gets it into Starks. Starks. And Reichenbach will come up with it. Feeds it down to Van Kampen. Van Kampen quickly puts it up. Misses it. Grendy comes up with the rebound, puts it up for two. Gabe Grendy on a baseline jumper on the rebound. Van Kampen steals the inbound pass, puts it back up for another two. 66-26. And the clock will run. There's a 40-point lead by the Vikings. Peterson looking, gets it out to Garrison. Garrison looking, stolen away by Gilliard. Gilliard gives it up to Van Kampen. Van Kampen will bring it across the timeline for Bigfork. Let's get over to Wyatt Reichenbach. Reichenbach back out to Van Kampen, top of the key extended. Gilliard on the right wing. Bryce Gay with the basketball, looking. Feeds it underneath. Tries to feed Bjorgi underneath, and it runs out of bounds. And number 15, Bagalki back in for the Trojans with 35 seconds to go. They changed the score to 64-26, not sure why. Bagalki with the basketball, top of the key. Over to Peterson, underneath Starks with the basketball. Starks kicks it out. Bagalki, three-point shot on the way. Is no good. Wyatt Reichenbach with the rebound with 16 seconds to go. Feeds it back to Van Kampen. And they'll hold it. Wyatt Reichenbach is not going to shoot. He's going to kick it out and hold the basketball. And I'm going to say 64-26 is your final from Troy, Montana. Your final, Bigfork Vikings 64. I had 66, but that could be wrong. We'll check the book later. It doesn't matter. The Bigfork Vikings 64, the Troy Trojans 26. So the Vikings are moved to 2-1 in conference. And 5-3 overall as they won the last 5 straight games and ready to take on Deer Lodge and the Wardens. I'll be back with your full game stats and an interview with Coach Hollow and one of his players. All right, welcome back to Troy, Montana, Troy High School. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm with the big 6'7" forward, Colt Thornton's got to look up at him a little bit, you know. I thought you guys played really well. Try to get the ball into you. You had a really good first half. I'm not with your final scores, but you had 10 points in the first half. I don't have the final stats. I'm waiting for those momentarily. Talk about the game and getting used to each other as a team.
Well, just at the beginning of the year, we were just not really playing together because, I mean, we've got 2 freshmen on the varsity team. I've never played with them before, not even in like a pickup game. But just getting used to each other, running the offense. I really trust Coach Harker and Hollow and what he's doing here. Yeah, I think that he's doing great for just a rebuilding year, apparently.
Well, and you could see that early on. I came up and I was at Shelby tip-off tournament. You guys looked really rough, trying to get used to each other, and that has to do with not playing together and not really getting a lot of varsity minutes. A lot on the JV side last year, but not varsity minutes. But then you lost the first 3 that won overtime to Eureka. I'm sure you'll take care of business when you get them home. But you've won 5 in a row now. Talk about that.
I just think it's us. We got used to the speed of the varsity game. Like we had all played on JV, and it's just so much slower, and there's not as many like talented players. Just getting used to the speed of the varsity game, and again, Hall is setting up the right offense for the guys that we have.
Yeah, I thought you guys did a big job, and you guys were actually trying to get. I got your full game stats here, and let me see what you got. You ended up with. Well, you didn't play much in the second half, but 14 points overall. That was a good ball game, and kind of distributed out between you guys, and looked like your defense was playing better as well.
Thank you.
Well, get ready. Saturday you take on Deer Lodge, and then next week you got to play at Thompson Falls. So good luck on Saturday against Deer Lodge at home, and great talking to you at Colt Thornus. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that was Colt Thornus. I'll bring in the head coach, John Hollow. Hey, John, you're now 2-1 in league. Talk about the game and how do you think you guys played and what you need to improve on.
Still got a lot of things to improve on, as we talked about, but I thought our kids did a good job. This is our 3rd game in 4 days. It's been a brutal schedule for the last couple weeks, or for the last week, I'm sorry. So I thought our kids did a good job. Long road trip up here, sitting around the gym all day, all those things that can be distractions, and I thought our kids, we missed some easy shots in the first quarter that we're probably not going to miss, but they weren't bad shots. We were executing our stuff. We were taking good shots. They just weren't falling. So, again, I thought our kids did a good job of being mentally tough and coming ready to play.
Yeah, they look good at times. I saw a little more emphasis trying to get the ball inside to Colt, let him dominate down low. Yeah,
I mean, when you have 6'7", I don't care if it's class AA, if it's college, whatever it is, you need to get the ball inside and pound it to them. And, on top of 6'7" there, we have 6'6" in Eli, 6'4" in Duke. So, yeah, that has to be our priority. And I think our guards are starting to see. Once that starts happening and we get buckets inside like that, it's going to start opening everything up on the perimeter. I mean, Walker got a ton of open threes tonight. And Isaac had a couple open threes. Asher had a couple open threes. I'm not sure how many threes we ended up making tonight. But, again, we were getting outside shots because of our inside presence.
Well, then Wyatt Duke, the 6'7" guy, steps out and hits 2 from the top of the key. So that's got to be an added thing as well when you have a guy that tall to be able to step outside.
Absolutely.
And drain that shot.
Yeah, he's one of our best shooters. I mean, we see it every day at practice. I think this is his 3rd three he made. He made a really big 3 against Anaconda and then had 2 today, but that's part of why we're running this high-low offense that we're running, because we have 3 or 4 big guys that, yeah, they can post the ball up too, but they can do a great job of stepping out and hitting perimeter shots. So I thought we did a good job of that. Again, at times we're sloppy with the basketball. We need to fix that. We need to fix our stinking free throw shooting, which is about our 4th game in a row of going 50%. But we're doing a lot of really good things, too, and that's something I'm proud of.
Well, and I see across the board pretty much balanced scoring with Colt, who had a big first half of 10 points, especially in that second quarter. 14. Asher even got 9. He made a couple threes, and Walker with 12. He struggled early with the threes, I thought, in the first half, but able to nail a couple. 10 by Levi Taylor, who's consistent. You talked about that in pregame.
Quiet 10.
8 by Wyatt Duke, Isaac with 5. A little bit down for him. He didn't shoot the ball as well, but he played a great game. Gabe even had 4, and Bjorky hustling out there. So.
Yeah. No, I thought we got great contributions from all 11 guys. We didn't play Eli Hines a ton tonight. He's got a little bit swollen knee, so we didn't have to, so we didn't use him as much as we normally would have. But I thought we got good minutes from all our guys. If we can get down the stretch where we're playing 9-10 guys, that's going to be a benefit for us. It really is. So I thought we came and did what we needed to do tonight. It wasn't always beautiful, but nor is it usually ever. So we did what we needed to do and took care of business up here. We're 2-1. We've won, 5 in a row now?
5 in a row.
So I told the boys they call that a winning streak. That's pretty good.
That's it. Keep it going. Coming up Saturday, with Deer Lodge and see how that game's going. They got a big guy underneath, so
They do.
that'll be interesting as well coming out Saturday.
They do. We got to protect our court, though. That's good teams win at home and get a few here and there on the road, but good teams protect their house and win games they need to win. So that's our goal.
Well, thanks for joining me on the post game. I appreciate it, Coach.
You bet.
Great ball game, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming
Have
up.
a safe ride home. All right, that's Coach John Hollow and also Colt Thorness joining me on the post game show. I'm going to wrap things up here from Troy, Montana, as the Vikings win, basically double up. They had 66. It's funny, in the books, we were talking about that earlier, and the book final he had was 66, and doubling them up to 26, or excuse me, 26, your final from Troy, Montana. This is James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes of Owls. Thanks for joining us tonight from Troy, Montana. Your final 66-26 as the Vikings take this one, move to 2-1 on the season, 2-1 in conference play, and 5-3 on the season with a 5-game winning streak. We'll see you on Saturday at home in Bigfork as the Vikings of Valkyries will host the Wardens. Gets underway at noon with the freshman ball game. We'll see you right there. Thanks for listening in, and guys, have a great night. Draw home or travel